Welcome to our concert this afternoon. Thank you for coming out. We're going to begin the concert with the 5th grade band. So the students that you see before you have been playing their instruments for only 3 months, but I think you're going to be impressed with what they've learned in those 3 months. The first song that they'll perform is called Rain, Rain, and that we will follow that with several other familiar songs listed on the program. As I was planning the concert this year, I thought it would be fun to have a theme throughout the concert. So the theme that I picked was a superhero theme. Later on, you're going to hear the 6th grade play a superhero theme song, but how we continued that through the rest of the concert in the year is we talked about what we refer to as our superhero composers. So we've learned about a lot of famous composers in music, and we will be performing songs for you from some of the most famous composers from the past and present day. So the first composer that the 5th grade learned about is John Williams. He is a modern day composer, and he has written like the Olympic theme song, songs from movies such as Jaws, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, things like that. So the next song that we will play for you is one of their favorites, the theme from Jaws. The 5th grade will perform is called Beethoven's Ninth. And so Beethoven was another one of our super composers we learned about. He was one of the most famous composers during his time. And one thing we learned about him is that he actually started going deaf at the end of his lifetime. But some of the greatest songs he wrote was composed during this time. And we are going to perform a song for you today called Beethoven's Ninth, based on Ode to Joy. And we talked about how this song was written over 200 years ago, but yet it is still very popular today and performed numerous times all over the world. And so we talked about how many of their favorite songs on the radio are going to be that popular 200 years from now. We didn't come up with much of a list, so. we have the 6th grade bands from St. Michael and St. Catherine Drexel. A member of the band will be introducing each song before we play it for you.
The first song we will perform is the Hallelujah Chorus by George Frederick Handel. Handel is another one of our super composers and was one of the most famous composers during the time that he lived. The Hallelujah Chorus is a part of a larger work that Handel wrote called the Messiah. Handel's Messiah tells the story of the life of Jesus. While Handel intended the Messiah to be a piece performed at Easter, it has become a popular Christmas tradition today.
And before we play that one, we're just going to do just a quick warm-up quick, and then we'll get into Hallelujah Chorus.
composed by John Philip Sousa. John Philip Sousa is most famous for his composing marches and is known as the March King. His band traveled the world and even performed in South Dakota. John Philip Sousa also composed a song called The Stars and Stripes Forever, which is the song the Gorman School song is based on.
Robert W. Smith is a very famous modern-day composer of band music and has published over 600 songs. He has worked as a teacher and composer and has traveled the world, including South Dakota, working with various musical groups. You can find his music being performed today by bands all over the country.
The next song we will perform for you is Boogie Blues. This song taught us how to play in a swing style and features soloists Abby Moen, Jenna Krause, Gabriel Lindemann, and Zach Christian.
will enjoy the Batman game. Thank you very much for coming to our concert today. We have enjoyed performing for you, and we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas as we prepare to celebrate the birth of our real superhero, Jesus Christ. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for coming out today. We have one more thing for you today. At this time, I'd like to invite the McMaster family and the Ortega family forward. Both of these families have had children who have recently participated in band right here at St. Michael and have gone through the transition of going to the junior high and the high school, and they'd like to share those experiences with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Mrs. Richards said, my name is Eric Ortega. This is Jasmine Master and her daughter, Hope. And as she said, I have four daughters in the school system. I have a freshman who's also a longtime friend of Hope's. I have two seventh graders, and I have one in Jumpstart. And we are asked to talk to you today a little bit about the transition from sixth grade to junior high with regards to band. One of the things that we've noticed over the last couple of years is a huge drop-off in the number of students who take band up to sixth grade and then stop. And one of the leading things that we found, or we've been told, is the concern around the adjustment to junior high and the ability of the students to handle the workload and the need for that extra study hall. And while I can only relate my experience, and Jasmine can only do hers, I can tell you that my three that are that have gone through the junior high and my one in high school have done phenomenally well. They are, my high schooler was in the marching band along with, she's currently in show choir band along with orchestral band. And she went from being a very good student to being a straight A student throughout both junior high and into high school. My two seventh graders have followed that same suit. They have both done tremendously well. And I can't say enough about the preparation that the students are receiving here at the elementary level. And you don't really see that until you get to the junior high level and you realize exactly how hard the teachers and how hard the staff here at St. Mike's works for the students to get them prepared, to make them aware of how to work with teams and how to get things done, how to prioritize. their work, it really comes out, it really shines through once you get to that level. So again, I can only relate my experience, and Jasmine will relate hers, and Will too. But I know my kids have truly, truly enjoyed being part of the band, both here at St. Michael's and at the junior high and into the high school level. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. My name is Jasmine Master, and I've been part of the Sioux Falls Catholic School community for 12 years. It is so fun to be back here and see so many faces that I recognize. We have had an awesome experience. I have Hope, who's a 9th grader, and Seth, who is a 7th grader. So Hope, I don't think, had any questions. She was going to go right for it. She was going to go into marching band, and she's just had an excellent, excellent experience, way better than any type of orientation going into the high school, because she came in her first day of school knowing 100 kids from band and having built those friendships over summer band camp. She's had a great time. She's had no trouble adjusting or picking up the extra workload or balancing her time. And I think it's been a really, really good lesson for her to learn to fit band in and all the other commitments and priorities that go along with that. And I think for us adults, you know, we're constantly juggling and spinning different plates, and I think it helps them just be set up for success later on in life, knowing that you have to balance things in life. My son, Seth, he was really concerned about being able to take on the extra workload. He did band here and then decided not to do it in 7th grade. Pretty hesitant, and he's kind of watched Hope and been involved. And we recently volunteered one night before the chicken dinner at the high school, and he's like, "Mom, I had no idea band was such a big deal. I had no idea it was this fun." So I think he's going to jump back in next year, recognizing that it's fun. It's more fun than I think he was led to believe it would be. So I'll let Hope kind of share her thoughts here.
Okay, well, I have to say, first of all, that yes, it's a lot of fun. Band is honestly one of the biggest parts of my life right now. I have made some of my best friends in band, and it honestly made me the most prepared for my high school experience. I don't think the workload is too much to bear. I have never found that playing my instrument got in the way of my studies. I really think that band comes with a lot of benefits, including like getting to take trips as a high schooler, whether that's the big trip you get to take once in your 4-year experience, or the little trips you get to take with marching band. It's just an amazing program, and it teaches you a lot of responsibility, and I really appreciate it. I think that's all I have to say.
One more thing to the students who are kind of on the fence and don't know if they want to do it next year. I say just do it. Go for it. Go for it a couple more years and see what happens after that first year of marching band or first year in high school. And after that, you can make a decision, but definitely give it a try.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today. And that is everything we have for you. Thank you so much for coming out to our concert today. Just a couple people to thank here. The students. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with your students this year. They've worked hard and they've learned a lot, and we've really enjoyed sharing that with you today. The parents, thank you for supporting your students in their practicing and the work at home and everything. It's paid off. And also thank you to the staff here at St. Michael and at St. Catherine Drexel as well. Thank you so much for your flexibility and everything with getting everything organized and set up in order to make today a success. So thank you once again for coming out to our performance today, and we want to wish you all a Merry Christmas.